Hello and bonjour. Today we are going back to Louisiana, New Orleans, to try some more rum. Most of this is from Cheramie, or really Porchjam Distilling, I should say. Yeah, let's talk about this for a minute. I reviewed this Cheramie Rum Blanc, I think last year sometime. And it's a cane juice based rum made entirely from Louisiana cane, which is awesome. It's made in a sort of what I found a very refined style. Like there's not a ton of like congener character to this. And I know why they did it, but I've been waiting to see if other stuff that comes out from the same distillery might have a little bit more to it. And today is really kind of mostly about that. There's also an interloper. Oh, for God's sake. Sample bottoms. They always have these little coney things on the insides, and they always get caught when I'm trying to pour this on camera. So what do I got here? I've got a unaged pick from Turning Tables, but it's also Porchjam. This is Porchjam juice. This is called, what is it called? Pou Moun-La. Hope I'm nailing that. And that's pretty cool. I've got the aged Cheramie Gold. They're calling it gold aged, which is a little weird. For the last glass, I've got a Cask Select aged Cheramie from Cane and Table. Oh, the cones hate me today. Pour, pour, pour. And then, again, as I said, I've got an interloper from Roulaison. This is the aged Roulaison Barrel Aged Reserve. Molasses based. And it's a different distillery. There we go. Come on. Okay, let's go through these. Starting with the Turning Tables Porchjam Cheramie. I'm not sure exactly what to call this. Pou Moun-La. This is a bottling that benefits charity, which is really, really cool. But in terms of techniques, so it's again fresh cane juice, but it's pot and continuous distillation. And so far as I understand, this is distilled to a much less degree. There's much more kind of character going into this bad boy. Interestingly, distilled 2020 and then bottled in 2023. So 3 years in glass, which is interesting. I'm sure there's a story behind this, but I just want to taste it. 50% alcohol by volume on the nose. Yes, this is what, honestly, like on the nose already, this is what I wanted Cheramie Blanc to be. It just smells like a hardcore cane juice rum. Like I am getting lime, key lime. So that kind of more aromatic floral lime. So key lime juice, but also some like key lime peel as well. But there's also some like really fun savory stuff going on. There's some like V8 juice happening here. Some pebbles, like little soapstone pebbles. Fennel, a little bit of like a little bit of olive juice, like a dirty martini kind of thing. A little bit of like a light floral character. Some of that's from the key lime, but there's something else in there too, like almost like a dried flower character. I mean, it's very savory. It doesn't smell. We're not in Clarin land with this. It's not that bonkers, but it reminds me of like Longteau from Guadeloupe. It's got a little bit of that, especially that kind of like tomatoey V8 juicy thing. There's some like little bitter herbs in there, maybe some oregano. Fun. On the palate. Okay, so first impression palate is not quite as convincing and fun as the nose. I mean, it's okay. Let me restart. It's not complicated. And the length in the mouth and the finish aren't super duper great. They're not up there with my cane juice faves. But it's certainly delicious if you dig this style. Again, it's kind of like a cleaned up, buttoned down, again, like Longto, like a cleaned up, buttoned down version of a savory cane juice rum. Fennel, mixed olives, gravel, dried flowers, key lime peel, kind of like a grapefruit thing too, like a grapefruit peel thing. That mineral, the sandstone, soapstone thing is kind of more pronounced on this. There's kind of a sweet tarts thing going as well. A little bit of like old school sour candy. Just a little bit of the V8 juice thing. Just a little hint of it. But, you know, again, we're sticking to the herbaceousness, the minerality, a little bit of that citrus character. Like, that's mostly what's going on here. Really good. I like the nose a little bit better. We'll give it a couple squirts. We'll come back to it. 1, 2, and we are moving on. Cheramie Gold. All right, so this is, so far as I can tell, basically an aged version of this. Cheramie Gold, they call it aged gold, which it's a little bit of, I know why they had to put gold on there, because they're trying to appeal to the same audience that would have been scared of a hardcore cane juice rum. I get it, but it's also like, why? Like, just put aged on there if you want to call it. It's a 2-year-old. Cheramie is what it is. I believe it's ex-bourbon, although I'm not sure. I'll double check my notes. Bottled circa 2023, also distilled at Porchjam, 46% alcohol by volume on the nose. Very light. Very light. With a lot of American oak on it. So vanilla, Pepsi, cinnamon, slight floral. I mean, that the floral might just be part of the Pepsi thing. I'm having trouble getting more stuff out of this. A little bit of like toasted lime peel, maybe. White pepper, maybe a little nutmeg. What else is it? Jesus. I'm mostly just smelling American oak. There's maybe a little bit of like a black Twizzler in here, like one piece of black Twizzler. A little hint of dill, maybe. Yeah. And this is what tends to happen when you throw young cane juice rum into American oak for a relatively short period of time. On the palate, again, a lot of wood, a lot of American oak, but just fundamentally light. Again, like it's vanilla, cinnamon, lime peel, a little orange peel, touch of dill, white pepper. The Pepsi thing, a little bit of banana peel. Slightly floral, a little touch of potpourri. Very light licorice, that black Twizzlers thing again. I feel bad now for complaining about the Pou Moun-La mouthfeel and mouth presence in general, because it's a step up from this. There's a lot of oak, but everything is happening up front, and it's gone just like pretty quickly. It's sort of, yeah. Oh, let me give this one more shot. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to add water to it and we'll go back, but it's kind of disappointing so far. It really, this one, the aged gold, I sometimes talk about a theory I call the aging ditch. And in brief, think of it as a heuristic. Spirit comes off the still with a certain level of complexity. You throw it in a very active, aggressive aging vessel like an oak barrel, you don't get an immediate increase in complexity. You get the spirit kind of dumbs down for a minute while it is sort of smashed with oak flavor initially, so you get a sort of total decrease in complexity for a little while. And then the spirit starts to reassert itself, and sort of over time it sort of pulls itself out of the ditch. That's the aging ditch theory slash heuristic. This really feels like they bottled it right in the middle of the ditch. Like there's just not a lot of spirit character coming here. Not to say there was a ton of character in Cheramie Blanc, but yeah, what was there just is not really coming through on this one. So I'm super curious to see what happens with the barrel. What is this? Cask Select at the end here. Maybe that's got a little bit more time. We'll have a little bit more, spirit reassertion to it. We shall see. All right, moving on though. This is Roulaison. I love Roulaison. I don't love their corks because they're synthetic and they have a tendency to break, but I love what they do. Great little distillery down in New Orleans. Actually did an interview with Andrew, who runs the place. So I will link all that down below. But this is their aged version. So this is barrel number, this is batched. So this is batch number 10. They're not giving an age, but I remember when I was there, they had a ton of different barrels. They had small barrels, they had standard sized barrels, and this, I'm guessing, is just Andrew pulling out whatever he liked and throwing it together. But molasses base, Louisiana molasses base, which is important, and pot distilled, and bottled at 47%, again, batch 10. Let's see what we got. Oof. I mean, again, there's a lot of American oak on this. You're not mistaking this for, French oak, anything like that. No. This is vanilla and like RC Cola. But it's a lot fatter. It's just, there's more going on. And yeah, it just feels like a bigger, more assertive spirit. Yes, you got the vanilla and cola, but then there's like an orange marmalade thing. Black pepper. Oh, this is fun, Rebecca. Chocolate mint. I just found out that there are many, 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 many mint varieties, and one of them is called chocolate mint. There's a little bit of that coming through. The things you can learn with little, trips to the nursery. Some black olives, salted licorice, classic rummy stuff. But then like cinnamon sticks and chai latte. It's not root beer. Sarsaparilla, like a herbaceous, barky root beer. Buckwheat honey, like a heavy honey. Oh, and here's something that'll make the wild turkey fans happy. Tamarind. There's a very assertive tamarind note in this. Again, I just keep pulling notes out. That's usually a good sign. It's fun. It's sort of like the Cheramie aged gold, whatever. It feels like there hasn't been a ton of time on this to develop fun tertiary character, but the natural complexity of the spirit and combined with the oak is making for a lot of fun here. It's nutty, but it's not really nutty. What is that? It's like an old white wine or something, like an aged Semillon. It's that kind of nuttiness. Dried strawberries, like Special K strawberries, those strawberries. Fun. I'd love to try this with a little bit more H on it, but at the moment, yeah, this is delightful on the palate. Again, still kind of young. Not a whole lot of mouthfeel to this. It's not really attacking the back of my mouth at all, but it works. The complexity of the spirit and the oak barrels are just playing very nicely with each other. It does have the best mouth presence so far, despite the lengthening. Similar to the nose in terms of notes: vanilla, RC cola, sarsaparilla, tamarind, fennel, cinnamon sticks, junior mints, some cardamom pods, maybe. Certainly a lot of pepperiness. Black pepper, mixed honey, I guess. I'm having trouble nailing this. There's a honey thing. I'm having trouble nailing down what kind of honey. Something nutty, to like an almond butter kind of thing. Orange marmalade again. Some olive, yeah. Okay, that was obvious. But also like some blueberry in this. Like just kind of like some wild berry kind of characteristics. Yeah, this is good. It's very it's still young, and I mean you take a sip of this initially and you just think, okay, young rum, young woody rum. It's really only when you start paying attention to it that you notice, oh wait, there's kind of a heck of a lot going on in here. Quite good, but it's not subtle, but it's subtle. Like the subtleties sneak up on you. Yeah, I like that. Let's add some water. We'll come back to it. Like one more drop. There we go. And last up, it's another Cheramie. This is a cask select from Cane and Table. Thank you, by the way. You know who we are. You find folks in Louisiana who are willing to send me samples of stuff I can't get up here. All right, this was bottled circa 2023. I couldn't find like a age or a distillation date on this. I'm guessing it's around the same age as the gold. But it is bottled at 55.4%, which is a good promising sign. On the nose. I mean, yeah, it's kind of what I was expecting. It smells like just sort of a better version of this. It smells like a better version of Cheramie Gold. Where the spirit is just starting to fight back a little bit and reassert itself. So you're getting, like vanilla and Pepsi. Yeah, still, but then there's some dill, there's some parsley, a little bit of peppermint. Some mixed flowers, a little bit of tangerine. Like lime peel. More Pepsi. Something like burned sugary, like a toasted marshmallow. It's going to sound weird, but there's a little bit of like a pumpkin bread thing on this. We're going to fall, so maybe that's on my mind. A little bit of salted licorice. I mean, overall, it's still pretty light, at least on the nose. It's still pretty wood dominant, but it is a step up from this already. On the palate. So I could mostly just repeat what I said, like on the nose. Oh, there's a nice and not so nice kind of bitter tannic thing happening on the finish. Oh, okay, that's new. Okay, so Pepsi, vanilla, flowers, citrus peel, pumpkin bread, licorice, like bitter herbs, all that stuff. But you're also going to throw into that one York peppermint patty for fun. So there's a little bit of like a Braulio thing going on in here. Maybe Fernet. I'm not sure. It's a little bit alpine. Mouth presence, it's better. It's better. It's still pretty short, and the finish doesn't hang on for very long. There's even a little bit of olive in this, which I'm happy to see, based on where the gold was. It's a step up, absolutely. Give this a squirt of water. And this is one of those little paradoxes, right? Because I would be shocked if this hadn't spent more time in barrel than what the gold is. I think that's 4. But the effect of that is not so much more oak, but like the spirit's coming back a little bit. And that's kind of how it works, at least in theory. Give it another half squirt. Half squirt. Okay. And let's go back through. Wait, let me get some water first. So annoyingly, I think it's the Roulaison leading the pack. I really, really wanted to like score this Pou Moun-La out of the park. And maybe I will. Maybe it'll really step up for me on the second round through. Okay, here we go. Back to Pou Moun-La. This isn't even that expensive. It's under $40. Again, for charity, very cool. You see this, I would buy it on principle. On the nose, I mean, I can't help but love it because it's the most distillate-driven thing here by miles. It's basically the same. Maybe a hair bit more floral than before. Yeah, it's basically the same. I don't know what to tell you. It's still like key lime and V8 juice and rocks. On the palate. There's some nice kind of like wet grass things going on now, but it's still what I wanted from this. What I wanted from this was that when I added water, the mouth presence would step up and it would hang on a little bit longer and it would kind of start attacking the back of my throat a little bit. And that's not really happening, and it's a little bit of a bummer. It's still nice. It's still nice. I still like it. I would still buy a bottle if I was down there, but yeah, maybe the finish is just slightly longer, just hangs on a little bit better, but it's mostly the same. Lots of minerality, herbaceousness. Lime peel. but I just want it to be more there in my mouth. You know what? I shouldn't be complaining. I shouldn't be complaining because it's of these three Porchjam offerings on the table, this is probably my favorite, and this is the one I would like them to make more of. I want better, but this is still damn good. I'm going to give this 84 points out of 100. And, yeah, let's move on. Oh, it's the aged gold again. Okay. I'm praying for it. Please be good. Please be better. No, it smells mostly the same. Maybe there's a little bit more cinnamon, a little bit more like pastel after dinner mint going on. No, it's still mostly the same. All right, on the palate. I mean, it feels like it gets a little bit more tannic and grippy on the finish when you add water. You know what? That's good. I will give it another point because of that. Good job, Cheramie aged gold. But it's still quite light. Just the wood is taking over everything, and it's just a little bit safe and anonymous. Honestly, you know what? If you're hi Porchjam, if you're watching, first of all, I'm really sorry. I'm trying to be an honest reviewer here. I like what you guys are doing, but let me be straight with you. If you're gonna make what you're calling a gold rum, which doesn't have like legal designation so far as I know, here's how I would do it, because this is kind of, you're losing the distillate here. What I would do is I would just make just make two rums, right? Make one which is just throw it in wood, make it super duper duper woody, and then just mix in like a little bit of fresh rum. You could even go with your like more aggressive distillate here. Just throw a little bit of fresh rum in there. It still has color. Look at that. I'm just adding your basic stuff here, your Blanc, and yeah, I mean, you're getting... this already has a little bit more character to it. It's I would let this settle for a little bit if I wasn't doing this for time and improvising. But I'm already starting to get more cane juicy stuff and more distillate character alongside the vanilla. Now that I've just combined an aged and unaged distillate rather than just kind of letting the barrels do the work. I may have added too much of the Blanc. It still works. I do like that better. I just improvised that, but I would probably give that an 81, honestly. All right, moving on. Sorry. Just I should probably rehearse this stuff. I should probably like not talk so off the cuff and embarrass myself, but that's what I would, if I had these products, that's what I would do, is I would make my gold rum with a little bit of fresh cane juice rum. All right, back to the Roulaison. Now with a little bit of water. Yeah, it's actually that kind of fresh berries thing that comes out. Along with some honey and some flowers. I mean, it smells like a fresh spring day. So, I mean, we're heading into fall here. well, really it's third summer here in Chicago, but that means we're heading into fall. So completely inappropriate for this weather, but I like this nose. On the palate. Again, still young. But there is still some freshness to this, and it does have the best mouth presence of this flight. Like, it's holding on the longest. It's really, like, attacking my mouth the best. It's even starting to tickle the back of my throat a little bit now that I've had a little bit of water. In terms of change, not a whole heck of a lot. Maybe a little bit more of that kind of wild berries note, which is very fun for me. I wonder if there's some, like, there could be some weird casks in this. I don't know. I have no idea. But there's a little bit of like a wild mixed berries thing going on here, which is very, very fun. This is very nice. Again, it's not, it's one where the subtleties and the complexities are not immediately evident on first sip and first nose. You really have to give this a little bit of your attention. But if you're willing to kind of stick with it and see what it's got got a fair bit. I'm going to give this 85 points. 85 points for the Roulaison Barrel Aged Reserve, Batch 10. And then moving back to the highest strength thing here, the Cheramie Cask Select. On the nose, not a ton of change. I mean, there's some clover honey kind of coming through now, like light honey. Sorry, I wanted to smell my creation one more time. I mean, again, this for me is basically the Cheramie Gold aged, but better. That's basically what you're getting. There's a little bit more distillate character, but there's also more oak, and everything is just better presented. There's a little bit of a bourbon-y thing coming through now, like a little bit of Heaven Hill maybe on the palate. Chutes and ladders. The wood. With water, the wood comes out a little bit more than I like. It turns into a little bit more of a spicy meatball than I prefer. But the flip side of that is it does also improve the mouth presence, particularly the finish. It just holds on a little bit longer. Do I like this more than the Pou Moun-La? Yeah. They're close. They're very close. No, I think I like the Pou Moun-La just a hair bit better. I'm going to give this an 83 plus out of 100. And yeah, I mean, this is good. I mean, like the entire rest of the Cheramie range, maybe not so much this. It's solid. Like, it's it's delivering a little bit of cane juicy character, but it's also not going to scare people off too much. And I think that was the project. I think that was the goal. But by that same token, I just can't give it that highest score. It just doesn't have the character to warrant it. Not yet, anyways. So, yeah, there you go. What's the lineup? Yeah, Cheramie Aged Gold, 80 points. Serviceable, but I mean, man, it just feels like they can do better, and they can do better, because I would then give the select cask select thing an 83 plus, and then the Pou Moun-La 84. This is kind of awesome, and for the price and for the cause, definitely worth a grab if you see it. But annoyingly, Roulaison Barrel Aged Reserve wins this, and that's not what I had planned, but there we are. 85 points for Roulaison. Thanks for watching, and cheers.